Oh, my camera's over here. Hey, Mark. So yeah, that's good that you added another frame. If it popped, you definitely want to smooth that out without spacing and timing out. So that looks great. Really nice roll. Let's see. Yeah, I think that height is perfect for that. Right there. Looks good. Looks really good. Great job. I don't know if you can hear that. My son's playing upstairs. So, hopefully it's not too distracting for the critique. But, yeah, great job. Okay, so let's see your devastation pose first. And nice. Good stuff. Yeah, it's a really interesting ideas. I like what you're doing here, exploring these ideas. Let's look at your stew pose here. Good stuff. Cool. Okay. The Dear John letter version. This looks good. I like this a lot. Like, I think that you're doing some nice exaggeration here with the pose, and the pose is definitely reading devastation. Like, you don't even need that letter there. Like, I don't even need that to understand that your character is devastated, and that's the most important thing there. The line is good and strong. I think what I would do, and it mainly has to do with like the weight of this character, like where the proportional weight of this character, like where the head is versus the body and everything. I feel like moving this leg back a little bit more would give it a little bit more balance, and you could get a little bit more exaggeration and at the same time just by doing that. I'm also wondering, like, maybe if we brought this leg in a little bit, like that kind of takes the line in a little bit more subtle direction, but it keeps the balance, which I like. So it's just like fine-tuning the leg. That's all I'm really seeing here. It's just like getting that to, I mean, otherwise, like the line that you're getting is so strong. It looks really good. And most importantly, like you captured that emotion really well. The next thing I would say is like get this arm. Hopefully this is the IK arm. If it is, I think this is the IK arm. It's the right arm. It should be really easy to do this. Just press it into the geometry, this box geometry a little bit, and have that be more pressed against it. And the reason why I say that is just because it'll give it more of a tactile feel. Like right now, it looks like you're trying to avoid it a little bit, and that gives like a less of an impression of that weight pressing down. If you actually just go ahead and just push that geometry through, it'll look a lot better. It'll just have like more of that feeling of like weight to it. But otherwise, I mean, everything is looking really good on this one. Yeah, great job on that pose. I really like that. Okay, so here comes the pendulum. Nice. And off it goes. Cool. Okay, that looks great coming in. I think that timing is looking pretty good. Okay, so one thing here is that, and this also it applies to the pendulum going off screen too, but anytime there's like a consistent speed that the pendulum will hit after a while, but for the most part, if it's going, I don't know what I'm doing with my arms here, but if it's going and it goes up and then goes back down. Like you'll notice that there's actually an arc that happens from the beginning over to the end. And you know, if that speed is consistent for a long time, I'm sure that after a while that arc will stay level at a certain space, which you could kind of argue is happening here because we don't really know where it's coming from off screen. Either way, anytime you can add an arc in animation, it'll add more appeal. So for here, like if we just track the ball here, you'll see that it goes over and then down, where it'd be a lot cleaner if we could have it maybe starting coming up and then going down into that arc. So it's basically something like that as it goes through. And then also just one little thing is like watch out when one part of the especially the bottom part gets ahead and you get kind of like this lightning bolt thing going on here, because that means that timing is getting a little bit off-centered a little bit, and it's something you can avoid. And by doing this, like let's look at here, this is where like this would be relatively straight, and then straight, and then this would start to cross over a little bit this way as it goes up. See, like the right now it's like you have the bottom one trailing, but the middle one leading, and it's offset too much, so it doesn't look like it's actually caught up with that. Like the timing is getting a little bit offset there, if that makes sense. So if it goes up and then it drags back here, I'd say you can add even just like a little bit more drag to that bottom one, and then that looks pretty good as it goes through and settles. And it settles really nice because it doesn't go on too long, and it's not too short. It's like the perfect amount of settle. Okay, and then basically my first note, it leads to the second note here, is that it looks too straight as it goes off screen. Like we would want to, especially with this one, let's see, you have that wind up here, that anticipation. And even this with this anticipation, I would give this a little bit more drag here. Do something like that. And then maybe that to that overlaps a little bit more, and then maybe even goes a bit higher before it goes down a little bit. So you're getting a nice clean arc in there, and it starts to maybe go down just like a little bit. But with that move, getting that arc will be a really nice touch to polishing that animation. That's something that we see in really clean animation or actual in any movement. Any natural movement there, we see those arcs. And the problem with the computer is that it's really easy to make things very straight and linear, and that's why we have to try to always fight that and get. And there are times when linear motions really work, but even those, like you want to find those little bits of arcs and like anticipations with arcs and everything, and that applies to broader categories with character animation. But the sooner you start putting all those little arcs, even the tiniest ones, will add more appeal to the motion. But otherwise, it's looking really good. You kept it simple, which I think is a really nice thing that just learning the basics here will be better for you later. And that's it. Otherwise, it looks great. Okay, that's it, Mark. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.